Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Absolute Power Origins Issue 1 by John Ridley, Aletha Martinez, Norm Rapmund, and Andrew Dalhouse. Amanda Waller's secret origins are revealed in this Absolute Power tie-in that throws us back many years into the past, where Waller's daughter is killed by a gang member called Candyman. John Ridley wonderfully juxtaposes the murder and Waller and her husband Joe finding out about the death of their daughter with the death of the Waynes and Bruce's pledge to avenge the deaths of his parents. Two events diverge when Joe Waller grabs a gun and goes to sort out Candyman, all while Batman gets vengeance on Joe Chill via the legal system after capturing him and turning him into Jim Gordon. Joe Waller, on the other hand, is shot and killed by the Candyman, who in turn is killed by Joe's own gun. But because Joe shot Candyman in public, he is branded a murderer and a felon, something the cops don't really care about and just want to brand him as that and kind of get on with their day. They're not really paying much attention to any of this. I love that this is the seed of Waller's contempt for heroes. Her husband actually stopped a known gang leader and drug dealer, yet the police don't really care, while a masked man captured a killer and he got to live. There is also kind of a hint at race playing a factor in here, since the police are all kind of white guys. There is like a African American police officer, but all the main officers are like white guys who just don't really care about Waller's plight and like even blame her daughter for her own death, saying that she was in a place where she probably shouldn't have been, hanging out with the wrong crowd sort of thing. And I kind of like that they're going in that direction with her, that Waller is having to deal with all of this on top of masked heroes kind of getting praised for letting gunmen, people who gun people down for nothing but the money in their wallet, live. Thanks to Joe technically committing a crime as well, Amanda and her family don't get his life insurance, leaving them in a desperate position. Waller puts her foot down and decides enough is enough, volunteering for Councilman Marvin Collins, who is in staunch opposition to vigilantes, wanting to end them before they can even properly begin. I really do love that Ridley doesn't drop the Batman comparisons here from the beginning of the issue and keeps bringing it back, with Batman's war on crime and how Waller's life parallels it, with a woman going about fighting the good fight within the bounds of the law and without hiding her face. Waller also learns that, the cops aren't exactly, clean in all of this, as she gets police files that details their run-ins with Candyman and how a lot of the police are on the take with Candyman and his people. It's stuff we've seen in Batman comics as well, year one, where Batman and Jim Gordon are trying to deal with all these organized crime members in Gotham. And it's cool that Waller is kind of edging up onto that, where she's discovering all these, criminals within the organization of the police and, the law enforcement and government of all these towns. She can't really do anything about it because she's got to do it by the book. She's not a masked vigilante, so instead she just bides her time. Ridley also explores Waller's indomitable will as she joins the Collins campaign, and she just works tirelessly to ensure Martin stands a chance at winning the election. Her home life is also explored briefly, with her having to take care of her two surviving sons and daughter, and it allows us to see a bit more of a kinder look at Waller. Her and her family's pain and frustration are just palpable throughout the issue, and you can really start to understand why she hates these heroes and kind of start to agree with her a little bit. Yeah, we can kind of understand why you're doing this, that you've got an unfair rap at life because of what this one guy did to your husband and daughter, and it just sent this chain reaction happening throughout her life that led to this moment. While Waller's work on the campaign also puts a strain on her home life, we also get to see that workaholic Waller kind of shine through, where she puts her work above everything else, including her family, and her kids suffer because of it. I've also got to give props to artists Aletha Martinez, Norm Rapmund, and Andrew Dalhouse, whose combined talents do a great job at selling this younger, softer Waller. I really love the design of the Waller here. She just looks like a normal middle-aged mother, and the book having a much lighter color palette, whereas we're used to seeing Waller, in the shadows, in dark, sterile environments like command centers, underground bases and stuff, whereas here she's, in the living room of a brightly lit house and out in the park with friends and whatnot. Really helps sell Ridley's take on the character, and I really quite like that. It's something we don't really see all that much with Waller, or have never really seen with Waller. It's not all lighter though, as Waller's path towards the dark side also takes a step forward when she figures Martin won't win the race, so she decides to dig up some blackmail on his opponent, gifting it to the councilman, but he refuses to cheat. Waller figured that he would do this, and this is the start of her coming up with all sorts of contingency plans for the plan she has already in motion, as we learn that she has also dug up information on Martin himself, finding that he was on the take of Candyman, who was giving him money in exchange for him looking the other way, basically. On top of that, Waller is also framing Martin's wife Rebecca, making it look like she is skimming money from his campaign, hence why he is falling behind in the race and losing money when he doesn't understand why he's losing money. All of this causes Martin to crumble like an old woman's hip on the stairs, left for Waller to control as he goes on to win the election and become a congressman, the first of many that Waller will control. This also puts Waller in the position to begin her life as the Wall, the character we all know and love to hate. John Ridley and his team's take on Waller's origin was a lot better than I actually thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be quite, right down the middle, sort of, a superhero maybe ended up causing her husband to die or something like that. I didn't think we'd be getting, parallels with Batman and his origins and how the two are very similar yet very also different. I enjoyed getting to spend some time with her family, her seldom seen family, all while giving her white-hot hatred for superheroes some pretty good reasoning behind it, and you can understand why she hates them so much. I'm excited to see the next phase of Waller's transformation in part 2 of this book, and how she turns into the woman who brought the DCU to its knees. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.